So when I saw the surprise trailer for Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, I got really excited because I thought they were going to announce Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is the 3D game that we were expecting. And suddenly, this game from Inti Creates, oh my god, it looks like Castlevania. So much so that it's Castlevania in everything except name. And I'm really stoked for this game. I'm so excited. I thought long and hard. I wanted to play like a linear style Castlevania rather than one that's more along the lines of how Symphony of the Night was when that came out. Growing up in the 80s, my brother and I had plenty of games to enjoy. I had the NES, my brother had the Sega Master System. I remember playing a lot of Castlevania on the NES, one of my favorite games of all time. And some of the games that I really enjoyed on the Sega Master System, my brother's machine, was Considine, Black Belt, and Shinobi. And when I look back on it now, I realized I played a lot of Nintendo games in my lifetime, but the Sega Master System is largely untouched. And while it wasn't the most popular machine in the States, overseas, the Master System was very popular. So I decided to take a look and see what Castlevania games may have been released that maybe I overlooked. I'm usually pretty good about those games, but I thought I would take a gander anyway. And I came across a game called Master of Darkness, which was actually for the Sega Master System. And I'd never even heard of this game. So when I found out that Sega made their own internally developed not Castlevania game, I had to play it and experience it for myself. So let's check it out. This is called Master of Darkness, and it's for the Sega Master System. You play as Dr. Ferdinand Social, a young psychologist and investigator of the paranormal who sets upon his quest to be rid of the Prince of Darkness himself, Dracula, and free England of the darkness that the Count has brought with him. Dr. Social gets all his 411 from a Ouija board that tells him where to be from stage to stage. It's a strange premise to a story, but anyways, right off the bat, you start out with a small knife as your main weapon. This thing is the weakest weapon you can have, which sucks, and it's the first item you're going to want to get rid of. Thankfully, there are 3 additional main weapons that you can obtain by breaking the floating knot candles. However, don't get too excited, because the other weapons don't have long reach except for one, the sword. And good luck hanging on to it once you have it. The secondary weapons in this game do lack the creativity found in Castlevania. You get a handgun, which is surprisingly as weak as the knife you start out with, only with long reach. Also, you can pick up boomerangs, grenades, and large throwing knot stakes. The gameplay is very reminiscent of Castlevania, with one big improvement I can immediately point out. You are not committed to your jumps. As an example, you can actually jump forward and while in mid-jump, lift your thumb off the D-pad and land on the platform beneath you. In Castlevania, my heart would sink the moment I realized I misjudged where I was supposed to jump from when jumping from one platform to the next. And I have to watch myself fall to my death, and then be punished for it by having to hear this ridiculing and simultaneously annoying note. The enemies in this game are basically copycats of those found in the Castlevania series. You have zombies, bats, women in white dresses, women in green dresses that float. You have not leopards, possessed knives, furniture, and portraits. I have no idea where they got that idea from. And other enemies with subtle nuances like those found in the Castlevania series. Among some of the aggravating instances I found in this game is the lack of differentiation between the foreground and background. What I mean by this is you may jump onto what you think is a platform, only to find out it's part of the background and you fall to your death. But the number one gripe I do have with the developers of this game is just as you're about to approach the end level boss, you're going to end up picking up that same useless, weak knife that you start off with in the game. And unless you're very careful, you will more than likely grab it by accident. Why? Why would you do that? Why be so cruel after reaching the end level? As hard as Castlevania is, even they send us into boss fights with the best main weapon available. Also, the timer on the top right corner of the screen, that thing's not your friend. Just when you think you're doing well when you're fighting a boss, out of nowhere, suddenly the timer will count down and you'll know it because it makes this sound. And then, before you know it, you're dead. And you gotta get all the way back to the boss. You won't get sent that far back, but remember, don't pick up that final weapon before you fight the boss, or you're gonna regret it. The music in the game is pretty creative. It's nothing great really by the standards of Castlevania, but as a standalone soundtrack for a game, it does show that Sega was committed to making a serious contender to Castlevania, even if the music is largely forgettable. The game is only 5 stages long. 4 of those 5 stages have sub-stages, but a seasoned veteran of the Castlevania series should be able to finish this game within a 2-hour time frame. As much as it may sound like I'm bashing the game, it's actually pretty good. Just because Nintendo had a 2-year agreement with other game companies not to release their games on any other platform until those 2 years were up, that didn't stop Sega from bringing quality clone games to its console. Sega cared about its customers and delivered both unique as well as copycat games until those games became available to port. Sega wouldn't see a Castlevania game grace its console until the Sega Genesis. And when they finally did get a Castlevania game, it was built from the ground up to take advantage of Sega's console's capabilities, and remains one of the best games in the Sega Genesis library. So, is Master of Darkness as good as Castlevania? No. But veteran players of the traditional linear-style Castlevania games may like this game as it is worth playing through, and is a little more forgiving than the harder Castlevania series. I personally like this game a lot, and I think it deserves to be in every Master System collection. So, have you guys ever played this game before? If you haven't, and you're a fan of the Castlevania series, I would strongly recommend checking this game out. I would love to hear from you. Please comment below. Thank you for watching ConsoleVision, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. This is Ronnie Snice from ConsoleVision. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.